Oh, God. You know, it's been a while since I've run through these things in my head. It's been so long. You never forget what it feels like to die. You really don't. The feeling, it's kind of hard to describe. It's empty? No, it's much more complex than that. It's, I don't know. It's really, okay. I gotta think. Hmm, okay, let's run through it one more time. For old time's sake, I guess. We had just come to this giant cave. This pretty big cave. Pretty massive, pretty expansive. Pretty open, as they would say. We dug into it, looking for escape and refuge, and we found it. We started to get to work and start making this cave into a home. Started working. No, you wouldn't think it would. Well, I mean, maybe. You would think it takes a while to build a civilization down in the cave. Gotta get a bunch of food, gotta find a pure water source. Potatoes grow plentiful in caves, weirdly enough. Uh, Start organizing into groups and, you know, just get to work. I didn't run security when we first got there. No. Our first goal was to keep ourselves alive. We all helped each other in those days, running from the withers. It was our only safe place that we felt we wouldn't be discovered. Deep underground. But that didn't last very long. Of course, we got curious, and with these tough blocks that we had stumbled upon, because we had never really gone down this far into the world, we started experimenting, of course, as pioneers do. And we probably should have learned our lesson from the Nether, but, you know, that's not something we do, I guess. And keep in mind, we weren't really. I mean, yes, we were thinking, we knew what we were doing. Huh. We were making a backup plan. If we had to leave, this was going to be our way out. This was going to be the way we saved ourselves. So we started experimenting with Deep Sleep, seeing what capabilities it had, because it was not normal stone. That stuff is weird. There's a lot to it that I still don't even understand, and I don't think I ever will. I don't think I'll have the time to. Anyway, started experimenting with it, figured out we could make a portal out of the thing. And so we did. We made a portal, and we opened it. And we sent one person in, didn't come back. spent some time thinking, seeing what was the problem. Sent another person in, didn't come back. And a third, and a fourth. And we were really thinking about not sending the fifth, but we sent the fifth and they didn't come back. Anyone who went into that portal didn't come back. So we did the one rational thing that the only rational thing we thought of ever doing, which close the portal, make it so it's unaccessible, and that was that. Little did we know we invited something into our own worlds that we didn't think was possible. A spore of some kind that we didn't even know was there. So we just went about our business, building, and at this point we had started getting a little mining operation off the ground. And, well, we mined for a while, and, you know, mines are dangerous, of course, so things are bound to happen. Someone's bound to die. You just gotta be careful in that kind of stuff. But, you know. First person died, and, well, we found out what Skulk was pretty quickly. These spores had been around us for long enough, and they, I guess, we didn't, you know, we didn't see them, of course, but they were around. And they, I guess, thrived on death, and the first mutation happened. Catalyst. Called it that for obvious reasons. Created more of itself. Not Catalyst specifically, but Skull. And I guess we weren't super worried about it to begin with. You know, we contained it as best as we could and kept on mining. We thought that would be the end of it. And, you know, that was that for a few months, and then someone else died, and the next mutation happened. This Skulk really, it takes it takes bodies to make this stuff mutate, it seemed. And this one was the sensor. The sensor became something we utilized. Yeah, we used it because it was helpful. Of course, we tried not to. We tried best to contain it, but you know, you can only do so much containment when people are in and out of the mines day in, day out. And then, of course, you know, more death follows ensue. And then came the weird one. The one none of us knew what it was. And I mean, all of this was weird. None of us knew what it was. And thus was the Shrieker. We left this one alone. You know, probably one of our smarter decisions, not knowing what this thing would do. I mean, you look in the middle of it, and what looks like faces or souls in the middle of it are just swimming in there. Try and contain it, move on, keep mining. We need materials, make sure we can fight off whatever is coming. If they come back. And, you know, more death, more things happen. And then we closed down the mines and said we couldn't mine there anymore. Too much of the Skulk had overridden the mines, and that was that. Peace for a moment until the bombardment happened. Just boom, 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 louder and louder, these explosives. Although, we knew it wasn't just explosives. We knew it was the withers. And the worst had come to pass. So all that was left was get into positions and hope things. Our one evacuation tunnel would get us out of there. Alas, that wasn't the way things played out, of course. My sister had been gone at a mansion for what felt like months, studying away, not talking, and had come to resupply. Whatever, I don't remember the specifics, why she was back. I just knew she was back. And she was there. Told us to defend the city with our lives, if necessary, and yeah. That's when the withers broke into the cave system we were in. The cave system we had called home. I remember the look in her eyes as she looked at me for the final time as she led the civilians, or what I thought she was just leading the civilians to the tunnels, but no. She had alternative plans. The malice and just pure, not hatred. I wouldn't say hatred. It wasn't hatred. She saw us more as pawns. I could have sworn she thought herself a god. But anyway, we made our way in defending the city, as she put it. And one by one, we fell, and I was one of the last. You know, they never tell you what withering feels like. It's not pleasant. Let me tell you. It feels like your body's trying to tear itself apart. It's, again, not pleasant. That's how I started to falter. The withering had started to take its effect, and well, our lovely friend the Skulk was back to play. I think if it were one or the other, we would have been okay. Truly. But both of them at once was far too much for us. The Wither taking us down, and the Skulk now having mutated to be more airborne and more of a malicious virus. It was a bit too much for us to handle. The Withers got to me, and one of them took out one of my legs. And I had already fallen to my knees. I could feel the Skulk starting to surround me as the Withers threw one last explosion at me, and I fell to my stomach and lie on the ground. And then I was filled with a different feeling, like I was being devoured. Not by the withering, but by the Skulk that now surrounded me, as I saw everything go dark and felt like I was dying, which, to be honest, I probably was dying. That empty feeling started to creep in. And then there was nothing. And to my surprise, however much time had passed, my eyes, oh, well, not my eyes, but my senses, I guess, had become once again. I could feel things, I could hear very well, to find myself completely covered with skulk. It had enwrapped me and entombed me. It took me a minute to get back on my feet that were now just skull. I'm never gonna forget that. I don't think I really ever can. I hear there's the end coming of this little game that the gods have decided to play with us. Will it end in our deaths? Part of me hopes so. Part of me really hopes so. Even though I know there's nothing at the end of it, I would rather rest than be here. I don't know. That's just my opinion, though. Everyone seems pretty happy about this end. I don't see it as that. I just remember. That's all that matters. Remembering.